Welcome to the Petersen's Bowhunting Podcast. All bowhunting, all the time. Now, here are your hosts, Editor Christian Berg and Associate Editor Mark Demko.
All right, welcome to the Bowhunting Podcast. We are all bowhunting all the time. I'm here with Associate Editor Mark Demko, and I kind of feel like tonight, Mark, the Bowhunting Podcast has arrived.
Absolutely. A pretty exciting evening here.
Absolutely. We're hanging at the Petersen's Bowhunting Studio, and we've got some awesome guests. We've been talking about this for a while, guys, and I'm thrilled to be able to do this. We got Curt Geier and Clint Casper from Working Class Bowhunter.
Yeah.
Of course, Clint is no stranger if you're a Petersen's Bowhunting reader, but Curt, you know, I think this is your first time with us.
Yeah, it is.
And man, I really appreciate you being here.
I appreciate you having me. I was fortunate enough to be in one of Clint's articles in the magazine for the bear hunt last year.
Yeah, last year's article.
So thank you guys for that. So that's like my shining Petersen's Bowhunting moment up to this point. I got recognized at the show.
You did.
For being in the magazine here
Couple times.
And that's exciting.
Yep.
So yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Well, yeah, so let's set the stage. You guys happen to be in Harrisburg, right? Clint, you live in Ohio.
Yep.
Curt, you're in Illinois.
Yep.
You know, lots of folks who are listening, I'm sure, know about Working Class Bowhunter.
Hopefully.
But you're in town here for the Great American Outdoor Show. And it's
Yep.
funny because, you know, you talked about being recognized for being in the magazine, but like, man, you guys are just blowing it up over there. I mean, your booth is like a frenzy. You're blocking up traffic.
Well, I'm glad you think that's fun, right? It's cool,
Yeah.
like people that listen and come over and
Absolutely.
like, hey, I like what you guys do.
Yep.
Because, I mean, it's just, it helps keep you going. We're doing it regardless.
Yep.
But it helps, like, when you get kind of that recognition of that people like what we're doing. We're having fun, so it's cool people like hearing it. So it's pretty cool. We're in a, I don't know, we're really thankful for the position that we're in.
Well, we're excited about, you know, talking today and just some of the collaborations that we've discussed. You know, when we talk, we always come back to Clint, how it's like old school meets new school, because Petersen's Bowhunting has been around for a long time,
Right.
and we've been killing trees for like 40 some years. and
That's a good way to. I mean, That's a fair statement. I mean,
I've killed a few with broadheads over the years.
I'm sure we
That's
probably all
what popped
have.
into my head at first.
Right.
Like, oh, yeah, magazines.
Yeah.
But mostly, you know,
That's true.
with the printing press, you
That's
know,
right.
Yeah.
And here's Working Class Bowhunter, and this is where I really want to start, Mark. You know, because it's an interesting story. Actually, going to ask you a question. First question I have for you, and I'm glad you're not a woman, because I wouldn't be allowed to ask you this.
Thank God.
But I think, but
the verdict's still out.
Yeah, we don't know. You don't know that.
We're in new times.
Yeah, you don't know.
that is true. But, how old are you, Curt?
I'm 31.
Okay, so 31 years old, and you obviously grew up bow hunting. You're a hardcore outdoors person.
Yeah.
But 31 years old, and you just recently left your quote unquote real job to do Working Class Bowhunter full time. So
That's right, yeah.
You guys started WCB when?
7 years ago in March, so coming on 7 years here.
So I remember talking to him at the ATA show. He told me a little bit about this, and I'm like, well, you were a 7-year overnight sensation.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So, you know, but in all seriousness, right? 7 years of hard work, but still a very young man.
Yep.
And I just kind of want to go back and just throw it to you, right? I don't want to do most of the talking today. How did this whole thing get started? And so over the course of 7 years, you went from an idea to having a booth at the biggest outdoor show in the country, where you literally have people running to throw. I mean, I'm not exaggerating. I was at your booth. People are literally taking their wallets out and throwing money at you to get your hats, your T-shirts.
Yeah.
You told me some people have been bringing you gifts.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know,
It's been awesome. Yeah. It's been. I mean, just hardcore listeners that, you know, they're like, hey, we make this. We want you to taste this. Check it out. Keep the bottle. You know. I mean, it's honestly, it's great. The amount of shirts, hats, koozies. Hey, I want a hat. My little boy wants a hat. Will you sign both these? And we're like, what? Like, yeah, sign the hat, sign the shirt.
I don't want to ruin hats and shirts.
Yeah. And we're like, you want us to? You're gonna buy it and then sign it? Yes, sign them, please. It's like surreal, really.
I don't
you know?
like it.
Yeah,
I don't like signing.
It's almost weird to like think that you come to this show to buy a hat from us and then you want us to sign it. It's awesome, but you're like,
well, you know what I think is different now. Like we kind of talked about this before we got on the podcast, Christian. Like the shift in outdoor media is kind of changing from like big TV. I mean, it's still around, right? But they're like the people in their niches are popular in their own ways.
Right.
Podcasts, I think, are a big factor in like that changing. You know what I mean? Like the podcasts have brought exposure to people in their niches, whether it's like saddle hunting, tree stand hunting, long range rifle shooting, or just what we do, like Clint with his motivational screaming at people on some of the episodes, and, like stuff like that. So, you know, I don't think there's like the one giant celebrity that everybody flocks to each time. It's everyone's popular in their own niche now a little bit. So I don't know if that adds up, like if that makes sense what I'm trying to say.
No, it's just, you know, I mean, I mentioned it during dinner. You know, we it's like community. And that's what you guys have seen. And, you know, you think about the last 2 years, the whole world has been like screwed up in a pandemic. And you guys have provided a community where people from all over the country, all over the world, you know, have connected through a love of bow hunting. And, you know, it's probably been more important to a lot of your listeners than ever just because of the way the world's been.
Well, I think that, for sure. The time and... We're good?
Yeah, keep going.
The time, like right now with like the pandemic, we're the perfect form of media, really, because guys that were working blue collar jobs that didn't have the luxury from working from home are still working. And we help them get through their job. But also with the format of what we do, we're just talking how we talk no matter what. Like we're not getting on camera and then becoming robotic. And trying to act
Someone
like
we're not.
Yeah, where we're just maintaining what we actually do now. We have gotten like some flack for that, but it's mostly from people we wouldn't want to hang out with anyway. Then most people are kind of like, man, I just like the number one compliment is I like how you guys just are who you are,
authentic.
And I'm not trying to be this welcome to the working class, but and trying to just put on something that I'm not, you know. And it helped. We're a little different looking, like, you know, I'm tattooed, a little out of the norm for what a bow hunter is supposed to look like, you know. And I think that's appealing to some guys that work blue collar jobs that have tattoos and don't necessarily fit in with like the Ariat boots and cowboy hat style, you know?
Well, the working class is, you know, I told you, you know, in conversations that we've had in the past, like, I'm like, I don't know if you guys really thought that through or if you just happen to like stumble on greatness because I'm like, it's perfect because I said, there's so many things you could do with that. You know, working class bow hunter is great, but, you know, you could have working class bass fisherman, working class, you know, rifle hunter, working class, whatever. Everybody, you know, unless you're Bill Gates, even a lot of millionaires like to pretend that they're working class.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. I was going to say, how many of the Bill Gates want to act like they're sitting here one about you? I mean, it's the reverse effect.
Well, that's what, you know, back when we started the podcast or back when I started thinking about starting the podcast, I listened to podcasts and there wasn't a ton out there. So I looked up hunting podcasts to see what there was. And at the time, maybe there was one, but I didn't find it one that related to me and how I talked and how I felt it would interest me to listen while I'm at work and, you know, spend my time listening to, driving or whatever. So I worked a pretty crappy job when I started the podcast, like one I hated.
So what were you doing?
I worked for a quarry company, but I worked on the Mississippi River. I was kind of like a deckhand / operator / maintenance guy. So I would run excavators and unload sand and rock barges. I would shovel sand. I was wrenching on old stackers and pulleys and fixing ripped conveyor belts. And I just didn't enjoy it. It was miserable. It was wet. It was cold. It was sandy, mucky, just not fun.
Just a tough environment.
So, and podcasts got me through that job. You know, like I remember being in the tunnel where the conveyor belt was, just shoveling, listening to old episodes of Joe Rogan and other, you know, no hunting podcasts at the time. And that's what got me to the point where I want to start a hunting podcast, but make it to where a guy that's doing a job like this would find it intriguing to listen to
get through the day.
So when he gets off work or he's working through the weekend, you know, that gets him through to that. So then he can go hunt.
I just want to do a little aside about Rogan because we all know he's in the news right now.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that getting on Rogan's probably like the last thing that you set out to accomplish that you haven't done.
Oh, I don't know about that. I mean, do I think it would be... I think it would be like the pivotal... I don't know. Like, yeah, that's a dream come true, right?
And you take the call, right? If Joe called you.
All day. But it would be...
Crazy not to.
That now for us would be like what it would be back in the day for a comedian being on Letterman or something. You know, like that. That's how I look at it. Like that'd be the big... You've made it. Here you are. Because the exposure that would bring would be absolutely insane.
Well, and just to come on a show with the man. I mean, he's the podcast god. I mean, he is. I mean,
well, Joe Rogan, honestly, for guys like us that podcast for a living, I guess that's weird to say, right? And I don't 100% podcast for a living. That's complicated, but because of Joe Rogan, his show being so big and going on Spotify and kind of bringing mainstream popularity to podcasts allows our outdoor industry niche podcasts to be able to monetize and get traction. More people are in podcasts now than they ever were before because of Joe Rogan. Like when we first started doing trade shows, we'd have the backdrop, Working Class Bowhunter podcast, and guys would come up and be like, what's a podcast?
What's a podcast?
Now, 3 years later, guys are like, I've heard of you guys, or I've listened, or I'll subscribe. I listen to podcasts on Spotify. It's because of Joe Rogan.
So many doors have opened up because of Rogan.
Well, and that's why they pay him so much to have him exclusive, because people are specifically going to their platform. They go there to listen to him, and then the idea is,
find other ones.
They find a couple other things, which actually similarly, that's with this bugger over here with Casper, right? Because he does a lot of writing for me, does a lot of podcasting with you, and it's like, hey, maybe if they see, you on the podcast, then they're going to check out the magazine. Or if they see your articles in the magazine, then they're going to go check out the podcast, because he's always wearing, Mark, that's crazy Working Class Bowhunter cap in all of his hero shows.
I need new. I'm working on you for a hoodie. Remind this guy. I want to get. We need some.
Hey, listen,
hoodies,
I'm on it.
swag.
Guys, young bucks, not so young bucks. We're the future, man. We got to rep the working class, right? That's what you're getting at with this, right?
Well, we need
fresh faces.
Yeah, as I like to say, we're more seasoned.
Seasoned.
I like that.
This guy right here.
I like that.
I keep Mr. Demko around because he's the elder statesman of this group.
Elder statesman.
Elder statesman. I like that.
And I'm getting older by the minute.
I love it. Well, that's what's so cool about the hunting community is it doesn't matter what your age, it's common interest, and everybody gets along like we're all buddies, A lot of my friends are a lot older than me, and it's because, growing up hunting, I was the youngest one in the group that I knew that liked it as much as I liked it. So, I that's part of the fun of the hunting community. I don't have a ton of younger hunting friends. I feel like there's not as many guys that are probably into it like we are as young, and then I have good friends all the way up until whatever age. It's cool, the variance in age and community.
Well, the amount of guys just in the circle between the magazine and the podcast that are in their 50s and 60s right now that just picked up a bow or picked up a gun 3 years ago because they listened to a podcast and was like, oh, that sounds cool. Or they read a magazine and was like, wow, look at that. That's it. I mean, we have people today, a couple guys come up. You've been listening to the podcast? Nope, just started hunting 4 years ago. You might have asked how old you are? One guy's like, I'm 57. At 53, I picked up a magazine and was like, you know what? This looks cool. I'm going to try it. It was a fly fishing magazine. That led into bow hunting. That led into now he was asking me about elk hunting in Montana. 4 years ago, he had never touched a bow in his life. I mean, it's cool how, the age isn't even it's a thing, but it's not because...
Or guys that have just gun hunted and then wanted to get more into it because of an episode they heard or an article.
Or they picked up an article. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's where, sometimes we joke around. I know I joke with my buddies a lot, just my friends from around home, especially in hunting season, because you're traveling a lot and they give you a hard time.
Oh, yeah.
Because you get to go do some really cool things. And, I always joke, well, it's tough, but I we got to do this for the Bowhunters of America.
More reason to do it. Yeah, I like that.
But I mean, in all seriousness, it like what you just said, it's not, that we're anything special, but by sharing our experiences, not only our knowledge of how to do it, but just the intensity or the elation or the challenge of it, and it does inspire other people. And so, but it's a privilege. It really is. I know you understand it. So we'll kind of jump back into that story. Here you are working on a barge on the Mississippi River, pretty much hating your life for 8 hours every day,
definitely.
or 10, or however many you were working. And you're listening to these other podcasts. So when did you be like, dang it, man, I'm going to start my own, and then I'm just going to your first podcast, tell me, was it good?
No. The first, they probably weren't good for a long time, but technical issues, right, was what I thought the main... it felt weird, right? It felt awkward talking into a microphone people should be listening. It's awkward, a weird feeling, why should anyone listen to what I'm talking about? But I think that's also what kind of made it to where we just did what we do, how we are. I just remain... Well, I think I did anyway, just remain who we are. And as a crew, when we talk, we just the same people, and if people like it, great. If they don't, that's fine too. But I think that's maybe the appeal is just we're not putting on a mask to pretend to be like Mr. Industry or whatever, you know. But also I think that was the appeal to guys that have real working class type blue collar gritty jobs to get them through the day is guys that talk like they talk and act like how they act and maybe a little rougher around the edges from what the TV industry norm was, you know. And you know, we work Jury Outdoors, and like Marcus told me that he goes, they are those industry kind of clean cut. Not, I don't know, boxed in is the right term, but we're the opposite, right? So that's a great supplement. We do that series on Deercast with them, and we do things and act a certain way and talk a certain way that would be really weird if all of a sudden they started doing that.
Right.
Sure.
So
well, and
it's a great supplement.
Yeah.
And the thing that I've noticed about your show is that you don't necessarily do in a given episode like hardcore talk about specific bow hunting tactics, technique, tips. Some of that might come up.
Yeah, right.
But you just have a lot of free form conversation, and you might be joking around that has nothing necessarily to do with bow hunting.
Sure.
You know, and so that, you know, and I think that's different than even what we try to do, Mark, where, you know, we might be talking to a manufacturer about products, or maybe I've got Randy Ulmer and we're talking about some of his shooting tips, or Bill Wayne, you know, whereas you guys are more just like you say, it's just a bunch of guys sitting around in the garage,
open mic,
enjoying a Friday night.
Well, no script.
The way I look at it is it's not a lecture. It's a conversation. And when you're in hunting camp, you know, I'm not just grilling one guy in hunting camp on this. You know, we'll talk about it and I'll ask him because genuinely I want to know. But it's just a conversation that hopefully people can learn from. You know, it's not, you know, a college lecture like some are. And, you know, that's great. Sometimes, you know, the real informative ones.
There's a place for that
Well,
style.
over time, I feel like, you know, we've done 500 episodes. If you have 500 episodes of nothing, like, let me tell you how it's done. It's a little, I think, gets self-serving to who, like, as a host, and also it's like taking medicine for the listener. They don't want to just be shoved information all the time. If you can learn something with someone that's an expert, but we can make you laugh while we're interviewing or conversating with them, however you want to look at that, I think that's a win-win, and people actually get more out of it if you can make them laugh and kind of let them relax a little bit, rather than just like information the whole time. Because I think when you get that, if you're driving, you're going to be like, oh, look at that over there. You kind of space out during it. But if you laugh and can be engaged,
you're connected
kind of with the conversation, or you feel like you're in the camp or whatever it is, I feel like your episodes just hit different in a good way. Like, you actually absorb more, even though you don't feel like you're absorbing more.
There's times I listen to like an episode, you know, and I'll think that's something my buddy would say. You know, like I'll be laughing at something that Doug says, and I'm like, I could see like Christian and I laughing about that, or my buddies in hunting camp at home. You know, like I immediately am like, that's something that so and so would say, like, and I'm laughing about it.
The best way I think to look at it
just
is
connect it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, if you're like in college, if you go and you think back, like in my economics teacher, I had two, Economics 1, Economics 2. The one that taught Economics 1 was a guy that was just lecture you. And I just was like, space out and not, and I'd probably capture a third of what he said. And the other guy was real light and loose, and he would joke around and joke about politics and whatever. And I think I learned 3 times as much from that guy.
Retained is probably way more.
Because I didn't feel like he was trying to force stuff down into my brain. I don't know. I don't know if you guys have that experience too, or maybe it's just how my brain works. But
yeah.
No, and I think that's that your tone, your voice is what sort of sets you apart. You know, and obviously you have a very strong following. And I was wondering, what's the most interesting piece of feedback you've ever received from somebody, good, bad, or otherwise?
It's a good question. Interesting piece of feedback. And a good would be like just how they like how we are and talk and how it's just normal. I think bad, you know, we cuss a lot because it's just how we talk. You know, of course, I know when to button up and do my job. Yeah. Especially here, it's like I'm not dropping F-bombs like this. It's not my show to do that, right?
But now all your regular listeners that come over here for this episode are going to be disappointed. Right?
No, they're not. Though. They're not. That's the cool thing, though, because
this is your guys. This is a different.
It's a respect thing. We're doing our job.
It's like the juries, where our series, the CC, the original WCB, it's more kind of over here. The juries, it's a little different.
It's clean.
We're clean. This is clean. But this is your platform. We're having a good time. We're being ourselves. Just we're not talking maybe how we would talk on our platform because we're here with you. That's okay. People understand that. They respect that, I think.
Probably the bad feedback we've gotten is there's some people that don't like that we cuss and all that, and some people don't. Some people don't like how I was talking about earlier, how might do the side veer off and joke about something, or give each other shit about something and then come back to it. Some people don't like that.
Right.
But to be honest, I get that. That's not for everybody. But also, I wouldn't want to hang out with those type of people in hunting camp anyway. So and all we can be is who we are.
Right.
So if I would have, that's just not. If we adjust to that, then it's not our show.
What I think is probably, I don't know if you've sat back and thought about this, but I think that one of your best assets is that you started this whole venture and grew it to sort of critical mass outside of the industry. And what I mean by that is by the time you ever had anybody who wanted to write you a check to be affiliated with you, which I want to talk about, because that's actually started to happen more and more, especially lately.
Yeah, for sure.
And because it does start to change things. Like if you hadn't have established who you were, had your style, had established your freedom and what you were all about, if you would have come at it from a corporate standpoint, you probably wouldn't have been able to do that from the get-go.
No.
But because you weren't in that realm, you had already had established that, and then it was like people know what they're getting when they work with you.
Yeah, I mean, now, we've been approached by some great people in the industry. Like Chase Rawlson from Redline Marketing is like the first guy who called me up and was like, "You guys are awesome. Like, this is just different from what's already out there." So I think Chase is a professional and he knows how he needs to evolve. He's ahead of the game. So I think he's seen that coming with podcasts and jumped on that with us, and we just became really good friends. But people who approach us as like a company, like, "Hey, we want to partner with you or talk about ad space on your show," they already know what we do.
And they like it.
They like it. Yeah, they're reaching out. They get it.
And
there's not one partner that we have that we don't have a personal relationship with them in some way. None of our partners are just a check. And as soon as you start taking just a check, that's when it becomes a problem, right? And we've talked about that a little bit. But it's like I can call anyone from any one of our partners, but like, "Hey, man, what's going on, man? What'd you do last weekend?" That type of thing, And I think that's a big, big difference. But they know how we are, and they know that's how most people in the hunting community are. They work blue-collar jobs, and they cuss in the hunting camp and drink a beer and kick back. I mean, that's who's buying. That's, I'd say 80% or more of who's buying these outdoor products for these brands and stuff like that. Maybe I'm wrong on that, I'm guessing. But from my perspective, it sure seems that way.
Who was your very first sponsor?
We had a couple like small like discount product deals,
like Uncle Ben's feed store.
Yeah, like stuff like that. Like
Uncle Ben's feed store. That's a good
we had. I mean, but a lot of them were like HHA Sports, Scent Crusher, some of those companies that started with like, "Here's a product deal."
Sure.
Let's just feel you out, because we honestly didn't have the numbers to be worthy of a check.
Well, and that's the whole influencer thing, right? I mean, everybody with an Instagram account, it doesn't matter what you into, For us, it's bow hunting.
Right.
For somebody else, it could be golfing, motocross. I mean, that's what everyone wants to start out with. Like, if I could just get a free set of tires for my dirt bike or a new driver, for the golf course,
new fishing
be like,
poles.
and then actually that's funny because that can get frustrating for those of us in what we would call the legacy media, right? Because if you think about it, right? Think about the days before social media. Everybody would come to the magazine or to a TV show to promote their product.
Advertise.
And all of a sudden, you got a guy like Clint Casper where he's willing to go and tell all his Facebook followers how great somebody's new broadhead is just for a free pack of broadheads. And we're like, I'm trying to feed my family over here, man.
I ruined it all.
He's giving it away for a free pack of broadheads, and I'm trying to sell space. You know what I mean?
Right.
So what Christian's saying is before I started helping out Petersen's bowhunting, writing for them, he's like, "God, Clint guy, we don't like him. What's he doing? He's on Instagram. Look at what he's doing now."
Right. Well,
we got to get him to join forces. We're going to work for us.
You can't beat him.
Join them.
Well, it's a supplement to each other, But we started out with those small deals that now I would be like, we just can't do it because there's value in what we do. I mean, I think there always is, but it depends on like how much reach and how much value it's really worth from a monetary standpoint.
Well, like it or not, buddy, you're in the media business.
I know.
And it really does boil down to audience, doesn't it? The more eyes and earballs you have.
Yep. Earballs.
Earballs. I like that. Earballs. Earballs.
Did I say
yeah, no, it makes sense.
It does, though. It makes sense. I mean, it's like when you said,
I thought you meant to say that.
See, I did too. I thought, I'm like, man, that's good, Berg. I'm like,
earballs is what we get.
That made sense.
That's what we need is earballs.
Yeah, that made sense.
Nobody delivers earballs like the WCB.
Hey, right? That's podcasting. Like, need those earballs.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, it just rolled in, like I think we did a good job, or they thought we did, and it rolled into, hey, I think this is worth this. Let's set you guys up and growing and work with each other, and that's where it all starts and just kind of rolls into
snowball effect.
Yeah, and but I also enjoy like the business side of things, and I think that part of the outdoor industry is fun. Like, the relationships and like the strategies and game planning on the business side. I enjoy.
Well, look at this right now. What we're doing. We've all. I mean, this all has been a connect the dot. I mean, we didn't just all meet at the grocery store one day and go, oh, you guys work for, well, we do. Oh, Clint, you want to come join the podcast? Yeah, cool. You want to write? You guys want to? Oh, I mean, that didn't just happen. And
I don't know what was the chicken and what was the egg, because I don't remember how long it's been exactly now. When you first reached out to me about writing.
The year after, so I killed Extra in 2016, and that was the very first article that I wrote for you guys, would have been the late summer, early fall of 2017. So we're working on 5.
And were you hooked up with these guys before?
I had done a couple podcasts with them.
Well, we were just talking about this today. You were on, I had to go back and look. I think you were on well before 100 episodes.
50-something. I would say 56, 50.
Between 30 and 50.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Yep.
And then...
Mountain lion hunt, I think, was the very first one I did. Yep. I shot that lion in New Mexico, and you're like, oh, dude, that's sweet. Let's do it. That was my very first one.
We just kind of kept in touch and became friends, and then the more frequently you were on, the more like your energy is strong, the more listeners liked it, and then it kind of just... became consistent to where it's like, well, let's do a series.
And right around that same time is when I started really kind of, working with you guys. I wrote that first article, and we got to be good buddies and started hunting together. And like I said, it's just been it's crazy. You think about the connections and the friendships and how it's all pieced together, like from 5, 6, 7 years ago to where you're at now. You're like, man, that's cool. Like I look back on stuff like that, and I'm like, wow, that's really cool. Like, who would have thought here we are today, like, doing this,
Absolutely. And
it's a blessing. It really is. I mean, if you really stop and look at the pieces and how they all got to fit together to make this all happen right now, what we're doing, it's pretty crazy. It's awesome.
Well, the good thing about this industry is, there really aren't that many bad people.
No.
I mean, you run into one.
You've got some bad apples here and there, but
that's every industry.
I was going to say, what industry isn't like that?
A lot of good folks, and he mentioned, how he has that relationship with everybody at his sponsors. Literally be able to call them up and be like, hey, did you get that big buck that you've been chasing back on camera? Or, how's your kid?
How's your kids?
I know he was in the basketball tournament, whatever.
Yep.
And, absolutely. So, and you guys have started up, like you said, you've actually like channeled out your channel, if you will. Like, how many different streams do you guys have now as part of the WCB
umbrella
brand? Yeah.
I mean, we always do working class. We've never missed a week, and the whole time we've been doing
That's right. So what year did you start?
2015, March 2015.
March of 2015, and you've never missed a week.
Nope.
Now, actually, we should probably go down a rabbit trail right there, because everybody with a microphone, a USB microphone's cheap. You get one of those for about $30, and everyone's got a laptop. Yep. So, hey, you could be the next big podcaster out there, and a lot of people think they're going to be, right?
Yep. Well, and we get a lot of questions like how to start. It's like you can do it from the memo app on your iPhone that comes on it.
Yeah.
Like, just depends what you want out of it, how you want to do it. Like, it doesn't really matter what you get there as long as you get the result you want. Like, you can piece together whatever. I mean, there's just no right or wrong answer really. As long as you're getting it done, you think that's good.
Yep.
But yeah,
little known factoid when he mentioned doing the whole podcast on your phone. Clint Casper types every single one of his features for Petersen's Bowhunting on his phone.
That drives me nuts.
While he's sitting in his truck.
We talked about that. I'm like, I can't believe that. Get a laptop.
Did you know that?
Is it a true story?
I've written one out of the
50 features.
I mean,
I don't know how you
different
do that.
magazines and over 100 easily. One I started and finished on a laptop. I said, I don't like this. I don't like it. When I'm at work, I've got 20, 30 minutes. You know what? I'm going to work on a paragraph for that article for Berg. Let's work on it. Oh, back to work. Okay, save. I'll come back to it. I'm
Absolutely
sitting at home.
amazing.
Funny, last night.
If you were wondering why his stuff isn't that good when it comes
See,
in,
this is it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, I thought it was magnificent. Let's be honest here.
Saving it.
This morning, my man, see, I just invited him out to turkey hunt, so he's like, hey,
Timmy told me nobody else on the lease.
it's funny. This morning about 6:30, I'm laying in bed wide awake, and I'm like, you know what? I ought to start working. I'm about halfway done through the next feature article for you guys. Well, my roommate in the other bed, Tanner, he gets up to go to the bathroom. He goes, Casper, what are you doing? You're scrolling? I said, no, I'm working on this article. And he's like, yeah, I bet. I said, no, seriously. And I flipped my phone over. He goes, you write your article? I said, every one but one. Out of all the years, one.
Man,
I said, I write him right here.
That's amazing.
I have
He's
to
like,
type on a keyboard.
what? I said, I'm wide awake. I'm going to do a paragraph or two, and then I'll put it away. I never sit down and just start one and finish one. I don't like to do that. I like to come back.
Just like I said, if you wanted to know why, like, the whole article wasn't one complete thought, but it was 18 paragraphs of 18 separate thoughts. That's why. Because every time he has a good thought while he's sitting around, he pulls it out. And
Yep.
Here's my guess: you're not very good at typing on a keyboard because you never do it, so it's probably more frustrating.
I actually enjoy typing. What I don't like is I feel like when I get it on a laptop or something, I got to start it and finish it. Whereas my phone, I'm just like, you know what? I'm on a roll.
Yeah.
I like what I'm doing. I'll read it. I'm halfway done. I'm happy with this. I'll come back.
See, if you had an iPhone, you could just airdrop it back and forth to your
I know,
laptop and work
I know.
on it, and back to your phone
I know.
and work on it.
But he's got a MacBook on order, but he said
Yeah, so
it's
he
the supply
says.
chain disruptions
Yeah,
are
all right.
keeping it from being delivered.
Yeah, you know what happened when I ordered my computer? Had it in 3 weeks. There it is.
Oh, I got rid of the Best Buy deal. I did. Yeah.
Had to go to the source.
It's just like my Maverick.
Oh, yeah.
It's out there
Yeah,
somewhere.
no, I had it
waiting
terrible.
to be
Oh,
built.
man, that was nothing against Best Buy because I bought a lot of stuff from there, but wow, the
They're not a
MacBook
corporate
thing.
sponsor, are they? Best Buy.
No.
No.
Okay, good.
No, neither is Ford, but I'd sign you up. Give me a call.
The Mavericks are nice.
They are. You've got one on order too, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, we may never see them. Not till model year 23 anyways. That's another tip for everybody, kiddies, though.
Yep.
Get yourself on Ford.com. Check out the new Maverick pickup.
If you don't like it, they'll give you your $500 back.
I don't have no idea what you guys are talking about.
It's a new Ford truck.
Ford's come out with a new small truck, like the Ranger used to be.
It's
Until they
like-
made the new Ranger, which is
Yeah.
almost as big as an
Yep.
F-150.
It gets like, what, 38, 37 miles
Oh, it has a
an hour?
hybrid, standard hybrid powertrain.
You ordered one?
Yep. It's $500, and if you don't want it, they give you your money back.
You didn't get the hybrid, though.
No.
No, I ordered the EcoBoost.
Yeah, I owe the
It gets
EcoBoost.
like
Yep.
25 miles to the gallon.
It's appealing.
Yeah, in my truck right now, I'm lucky to get 13, 14 if I'm lucky.
What was
That's
your
how I work.
build?
Same package you got, only different color. I got the orange, that burnt orange color.
Did you get you got the FX4?
FX4, yep.
Did you get the 4K tow package or no?
Yeah.
You
yeah,
did?
Yep.
I didn't get the 4K.
Yep.
So mine will only
you order one?
tow a ton.
No, I'm so old. When he first told me, I thought he meant the cars from back in the early 70s.
Yeah,
I'm like, I just brought the Maverick back. He's like, you have no idea what I'm talking about. So I'm like, no.
Why would you and Clint want that car?
Well, I'll tell you what, you put a good lift kit on it and some mud tires, I think you could get up the road at Kilgore.
strap your bull elk to the top and go.
I think Eddie Claypool.
I'll say Claypool
Eddie
used to do that.
Claypool hunted owls one year back in the 80s.
That's great. That's great.
That's crazy.
That's awesome. You're probably
my
like,
goodness.
why in the world would you want that? Why would you get that? Yeah, that's great.
All right, I think it's time. I think it's time for a little prognostication, okay?
I like it.
So, we had a little Chinese before the show today.
We did.
And I said we're going to open our fortune cookies on the show.
Mix them up.
Now there's 5 here, only 4 of us.
Okay. So one's got to sit out.
So fate is going to intervene here.
Yep.
Which fortune cookie do you want? But
Got mine. All right.
what we're going to do one at a time. One at a time. We're going to open these. You're going to have to read your fortune.
Okay.
But your fortune is basically you need to interpret how that fortune is going to determine your 2022 bow season.
Okay.
All right?
To the bow season
So,
specifically.
bow season specific,
Not just
okay.
hunting in general, to our upcoming bow season.
I think
Okay.
Demko should go first because he
Oh.
hasn't
I like
been doing
it.
much
I like it.
talking.
I like
All
it.
right.
We'll go this way.
All right.
All right.
This could be challenging.
I like this. This is good.
Should have brought my glasses.
You got to eat the cookie.
I
too.
can read it for you.
Oh, man.
Can you read Chinese?
Confidence isn't something that you get. It's something that you are.
Oh, Oh, you're the man.
That's an easy one.
Wow. Well, your bow hunting game is going to be solid.
Oh, I wish I had that
That's
one.
an easy one.
Yeah.
When I go out in the stand, I always think that I'm going to see and get a deer. And
I like that.
Even this
Positive.
year, I ended up not getting anything. But there's something, you were out late in January. You have to have that, or you're not going to do those sits when it's cold.
Yep.
Once Christmas comes, at least here, nobody wants to go out and hunt unless you're like a diehard flintlock hunter here in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
But if you're a bow hunter, you have to have that perseverance and that dedication.
Yep.
You have to have the confidence that at some point you're going to have that right opportunity.
Yep.
And so I've carried that with me since I was young. It's I didn't start hunting until I was 18, but I started bow hunting by the time I was 20 because I just thought it was that fascinating and that challenging. But for bow hunting, you have to have that confidence because you have to have a lot of things. No matter how good of a bow hunter you are, you have to have a lot of things fall in your favor.
Yep.
And so confidence is huge.
And now he's like 65, so he's got like 45 years of bow hunting experience.
Yeah.
He said he's carried that with him. I think that you need to take this fortune and put that in your wallet.
Yeah.
Carry that with you because I have a feeling that there's going to be like a mega buck in your future.
When I
This
go
is
out
all-
in my 1970s Maverick this year with
Cruising
my
out
bow
there.
in the back seat.
To Ohio, because this is all falling into place for you. I was like, hey, come hunt my farms, come hang out. And then you draw that. You know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
All right.
Big buck.
Well, I love that you
I'll
got.
still be sitting there in January.
Am I going next?
He's coming.
Were you going to say
He's
something
coming.
about
Well,
him?
yeah, like you got the easy one, but he still gave a really awesome answer.
Oh, yeah.
If I would have got the easy one, I would have gave a shorter answer. Be like, well, I just said it. I'm just confident
gonna
it's
happen.
me. I'm going
Confidence,
to kill
yeah.
one. That's
All right,
probably-
you're up.
I'm
You're up,
next.
Geier.
That's probably the question. That's probably the type of answer you'll get anyway.
Yeah, that was
Mine
a
will be
good
the
one.
worst. All
I don't
right.
know. Some of these fortunes are so just
Oh, some of these can be tough.
abstract.
Yeah.
that it's like, what does it
Who
even
typed
mean?
that?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't be over self-confident with your first impression on others.
Oh.
That's a tough one to apply, isn't it?
Ooh.
Bow hunting.
Don't be over self-confident with your first impression on others. How can that apply to my bow season in 2022?
Maybe.
Over self-confident with your first impression on others.
Does it actually say over self-confident? Instead of just overconfident. That is bad grammar. They need an editor.
Hey, it's probably somebody who doesn't speak English.
It would make more sense if it just said, don't be overconfident.
Maybe
with
you're
your
going to have
first
someone new
impression
come into your
of
circle.
others."
Of others, but of others doesn't really apply to hunting. So
But you can twist it a little
Yeah.
bit.
Okay, let's twist
Maybe
it.
it's... Go ahead.
Don't be. Let's go overconfident with your first impression on others. As far as maybe I don't know how to twist that.
Well,
I
maybe-
guess I'm never overconfident when I go bow hunting because that gets to be your downfall. If you go in, you're confident but not overconfident,
Yeah.
right? You know that there's
Confidence
a
is
chance it's not
good,
going to happen.
but
But
cocky's
it's talking
not.
about your
Cocky's
first
not.
impressions. So maybe like
new hunters.
maybe you go scout a property and you think like, oh, this area over here is like the gar hole.
Right, the gar hole.
Maybe
Don't
that's actually where there's a big buck bedding. or
Okay, we'll go.
something
Don't be
like that.
overconfident with your first impression. So there I twisted it. Yeah, I mean, don't overlook a spot. I mean, be open-minded. Don't overlook a certain area. You know, I'm going straight to whitetails when I'm thinking about these.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that is the thing. You can get too rigid and think that
Yep.
a deer's not going to be in a certain spot. Then all of a sudden you might have tried something and realize that's where he's at.
Yep. He pops
I
up.
mean,
There he is.
On a new property, especially, that this could apply. And I hunted
yeah.
a new property this past season, and there was a little bit of that. And I don't think I ever got overconfident because you have to be malleable in your hunting tactics. Otherwise, what are you doing?
Yep.
I think I didn't do nearly as good a job as you did, but I'm going to go with that.
I like it.
So you could be malleable in your hunting tactics. Be open-minded. Don't overlook things, right?
like it.
Does that work? Did I
Yeah.
twist that too much?
That's good.
Okay.
All right, Berg, give him a thumb up.
I like it.
All right, I'm
I feel
going
like
next.
I got a C average on that.
We're
one.
saving Casper for last.
Yeah.
I like it.
Because I know that pretty much the whole audience wants to
Yeah,
see what Casper's
I want
got
Clint
in
to
there.
scream over a fortune cookie.
So. And by the way, neither of you guys, you guys like these?
Oh, I love fortune cookies.
Oh, yeah.
I'm eating mine after I do this.
Yeah, we just can't do it into the mic.
Dun, dun, dun. Here it is. Whoa.
Is it easy or tough?
Oh,
Again,
this is
man.
a good one.
Oh.
I mean, this is good. Clear your mental, emotional, and psychic space, and you'll see.
Oh.
Oh, that's an easy one.
on.
That relates back to mine.
Yeah.
Okay? All right, this is actually going to get a little deep.
Oh.
Because it's mental, it's emotional, it's psychic.
I like it.
I mean, those three words are on my fortune.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, this has got to get a little deep.
Yep.
Okay, take it there.
All right. So I started this job in 2008. So This is like my 14th year as the editor. Man, when I first got this job, I knew it was going to be awesome.
Right.
But it wasn't more than a couple years in. And like, I was honestly starting to feel like the pressure. Because I felt like when I started to go on all these bigger hunts and going to these better places and hunting with all these other people who had killed like so many big things, like you guys talked about earlier, some of the people, like the icons, the heroes, the celebrities. And it's like, I got to measure up. And honestly, I started to get myself into a bad place where it was like when I would succeed, it wasn't like that joy. It was like almost like relief.
Right.
Or
Thank gosh.
Interesting.
Like a short-lived validation, and then like you had to get on the treadmill and prove yourself. And there was a season, I don't remember exactly what year. I wrote a whole article about this at the time, but I had done quite a bit of traveling over the course of the fall, and this was back when my kids were young. So I got two boys; they're 18 and 16 now.
They'd have been little guys.
This would have went way back when they were like in elementary school. And so my wife would always be pulling her hair out at home because when you're away, it's busy with the kids and stressful. And I had been on a lot of trips, and I really wasn't having a lot of success. And I was just feeling down about everything. I was feeling down about my hunting. I was feeling down about who I was as a husband, as a father. And I was on my last hunt of the year. It was in December. It was like a week before Christmas, 2 weeks before Christmas. I was hunting on this ranch. I was out hunting with Mike Stroff down in Texas. Everyone else in camp had tagged out, and it was like down to the last day of the hunt. And I was sitting in this stand.
I like it.
And it was the last afternoon. And I'm like, literally, I was talking to God. I'm like, Lord, I just don't know. What are you trying to teach me with this season? Like, I feel like I've poured my heart and my soul, and like I've been all across the country and back and forth, and I've taken so much time away from home, from my family. I got nothing to show there. I got nothing to show in the field. And it was like, you know what? I'm not, like, from now on, I'm like, no matter what happens, from now on, I'm hunting with a clean heart and pure intentions. That was actually the phrase that came to my mind. And ever since that day, literally, clean heart and pure intention. So it talked about clear your mental, emotional, and psychic space, and you will see. Literally, it means like, don't go out there with your own agenda. Don't go out there thinking that first of all, you're not in control. Okay.
Never.
Second of all, it's not about you. If you go out there for the experience, maybe you're going to succeed, maybe you're not. Maybe success is something completely different than what you're looking for. Anyway, long story short, gets to be the last hour of the day. Sun's starting to settle down towards the horizon. I'm like, Lord, if it doesn't happen now, like it ain't going to happen. And literally, this buck shows up, like this gnarly Texas buck, like with great mass and a couple like kickers and stuff.
Oh, nice.
He comes in. I end up shooting this buck. He like runs off and like crashes into these bushes. And it's the only time in my life I literally cried. I literally sat down in my tree stand and I cried. And I'm like, you know what, God? Like, I don't know why you had it all go the way that you did, but like I feel that there was a purpose in that. And so ever since then, it's just like, you know what? When somebody else kills a giant, dude, freaking slap them on the back and look them in the eye and tell them that you're happy and like, just don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Like what you're going to do is what you're going to do. And guess what? You're not a better hunter the day after you kill a 200-inch buck than you were the day before.
That's right.
You're the same hunter, just with a little bit more experience and a really cool memory and an awesome trophy for your wall. But you're the same person.
Same guy.
You know what I mean? Anyway, clear all that garbage out and go into your season embracing it for whatever it's going to be. You know what I mean? Don't impose your own expectations on nature.
That was great.
Man, that's good. That's deep. That's a wallet-worthy fortune as well.
I'd still rather have Demko's.
My grade went from a C to a D now.
You think you're lowering your?
I think he's got an A.
Well, you guys are both passing. You guys are
he's
teachers.
Got an A. I think I was a solid B plus.
Yeah,
but
I'm
Casper,
getting grounded for my report card off mine.
Hang on, I got it.
We did it.
I love those. I love them.
They're great.
They're great.
Come on, Casper.
All right, let's see what we got.
What's Clint gonna get?
I don't know. We're about to find out.
By the way, I agree with you on some of those feelings too when it comes to hunting. Certain things work out for in ways you can't explain. A little bit to make you.
You sit there and you just wonder.
My mule deer hunt, man.
Oh, the whole time he's talking, and after you.
That's all I was thinking about.
I was thinking about us in Wyoming, me on the spotter, watching this buck come. Curt's here. Here's the buck, and I'm like, this could happen. This, I think's gonna. Wow, this is gonna happen. He's at full draw. I got goosebumps just talking
I'll
about
just show
it.
Christian my video.
Yep.
I always say I'm gonna post, but I'm just not. You'll like it. We'll show
Yeah.
you
Oh yeah. He'd get a big kick out of that.
Yeah. Anyway, Clint, we'll read it up.
All right. Oh man. Customer service is like taking a bath.
That's not what it
You
says.
have to keep doing it. Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Demko, did you set this up on purpose? Hold on a second.
It was all in the shuffling. I don't know if you watched that sleight of hand there.
One more time. I need you guys to
twist that
focus.
one.
I need you to really focus here.
Dude, he's gonna pull something out of his.
Customer service is like taking a bath. You have to keep doing it.
I'm looking at Clint like, how are you? You got to twist that. You
I
can't.
mean, it's
you
going to have to be,
twist it.
yeah. And just to make sure that, now I want you to read this to make sure that you look at it. There's no word skip. That's what it is.
That's your fortune.
That's what's on it.
Well, it's got lucky numbers on the back, though. Your lucky numbers are 45, 18, 30, 16, 12, and 54.
You know what?
I mean, you could play those.
I'm not really.
Secondfortune.com is to blame for that one.
Yeah. Man, gosh darn. Customer service is like taking a bath. You have to keep doing it. Well,
He's stalling.
This is tough.
it is tough.
I'd be a
It
stalling.
is.
I know what it means for him.
It is tough.
But
I
I'm
think,
not telling him yet.
I think the
with you.
phrase "you have to keep doing it." So I've got.
Remember, it's a family show.
That's right. That's right. I've got a vision in my head, kind of. So I am not full time in the hunting industry. Like right now.
Not yet.
You have left a job and you're like, hey, I'm all in. Okay. I've always wanted to be that guy. Mm-hmm. So I'm super proud of you. At the same time, I'm like, that's almost more motivation for me. So I left the job this fall mainly because I was promised more time than what they were going to give me. And when it comes to the kids, 2 little boys, Easton and Keaton, comes to life. I remember thinking, man, with the hunts and kids and things, like, how am I going to make this work? And then I started thinking, am I going to be happy doing this? Is this what I'm going to be happy doing,
Yeah.
Started thinking about it, and I'm like, what do you love to do, okay? Besides, 2 boys, number one. I mean, whether it's a doctor's appointment, a basketball game, just hanging out on the couch with them, that's my number one. Okay, what's underneath that? Bow hunting, farming, me and my dad have a great connection. You've got to be around Dad and I. Love to farm, and I'm like, that's their family business, and the hunting stuff. I'm like, man, like what? At this point, you and I are getting ready to launch our series. Mm-hmm. Start turning the wheels in my head. I'm like, I could sell my house and I could start over and keep grinding and working and scratching and clawing my way at what I'm doing, what I love to do. Mm-hmm. Save money, make money, and be able to kind of fit a life around the things I love. Because I've always been a guy where it's not about how many things do you have when you die, how much money did you have, or how many animals did you kill, or how many trips did you go on. It's more of experiences. I want to be the guy that was like, man, that guy went for it. Like anything he wanted to do, that guy just went in. Whether he failed or succeeded, he went for it. So I remember thinking like, there's these things I love to do. How do I make a life around it? How do I make a living for me and the boys doing what I love to do? And it just hit me. I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm just going to go all in on what I love to do and hope it turns into, hey, I'm living a dream, working jobs that I love, making money and making a living for me and the boys. I'm closing on my house this week. Big deal for me. Like, I'm going to go live with a good buddy. Hopefully going to be able to roll some money over, build what I want to build, what I would call a dream house with barn dominium. Continue to farm with my dad, love to do it, family business, want to do it. Continue to write, continue to podcast, and hopefully those things keep growing, keep just, me personally just grinding and scratching my way to do what I can do to grow that. I'm just all in. And this is customer service is like taking a bath. You just have to keep doing it. So I'm viewing it as I just got to keep doing what I'm doing, what I love to do, what I think's right for me, and see where it goes. The man upstairs is in control.
That's pretty good, Clint.
I like it. Wasn't really to your bow season, but it was about life.
I guess I would relate it more towards this season is going to be like a big deal for me because it's the first time that I really feel like I'm relying on something I love.
Pivotal for your passion for bow hunting.
Yes, passion for bow hunting, and that turning into, wow, a good portion of your income to support you and your two boys is now coming from the hunting, bow hunting world. Yeah, and that's kind of a sink or swim thing. Like that's on me, you know what I mean? Like that's what I put into it's what I will get out of it. So
for sure.
You know,
I just thought there was a way simpler answer as the editor. It means that
but that's
Clint
always your job for me. Simplify.
Clint needs to stop passing all the good animals that come by him and kill more crap.
I try to tell him to shoot everything.
You know, the reader is your customer. The podcast listener is your customer.
This is true.
And we're here to serve the customer.
That's right.
So that means when you're in the stand and you have like 150s and 160s
150 plus
walking by
$60, yeah.
every day, your job is to pull the string back and make content. You know, it's not just about you anymore, Casper.
Right.
I'm going to piggyback. I'm going to convict him. You want to be full-time in this business? You're not going to do it killing one animal a year, 2 animals a year.
Right. Yeah, slings some arrows.
You're going to have to get after it.
That's right.
By the way, if you guys ever need validation on whether or not to shoot an animal, just text me. And
do it.
I'm like,
do you have that emperor? Do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. It is. It's. It might be a little harsher than that at times.
Effing do it?
No, I mean, I'll say it.
Yeah.
Kill, exclamation point. Loud. And it's more of like, because it's a short answer and you can read it quick. When you're in the
that
stand.
can get dangerous for us here in Pennsylvania, Mark. We get a lot of spike bucks and stuff
that's
like
not
that.
That's not a kill-worthy text.
Oh, right. We wouldn't bother you.
When there's a 158-inch 10-pointer at 25 yards, and you're sending me pictures of it, look at this is broadside right now, that's what you're going to get back in response.
It's funny because I sent the same day, same photos.
Yeah.
You were hunting in Ohio.
I was out there at that.
He was
You
hunting.
probably screamed the same thing I
Oh,
was
yeah.
like 5 miles away in my own state.
He was hunting
What are you
one of my
doing?
other farms, and he was like,
Yeah.
"Why? Why, Casper? Why?"
Yeah. What are
I
you
wish
waiting
I
for?
would have been in that tree that morning. I would have gladly shot that
That's
SOB.
right. Hey, you know what? You wouldn't have got you wouldn't have ruined your fingers from the cold if you would have killed that one back then.
It's true.
And then the buck
true.
you shot now would have been 180 next year.
You could be right. You could be right.
Well, that was a
You
pretty
can't
good,
play that game.
no.
That was a pretty good exercise, Mark. That was the first
I like that.
group fortune cookie opening that we've ever done on the podcast.
We got to open this to just see.
Well,
Or
I
do we
was
save
thinking
it?
about bringing that home for Timmy.
Yeah. No, Timmy needs one. He has to have one.
I think we got to bring it home to Timmy.
This goes to Timmy.
I'm going to make Timmy take a picture and text you.
Okay.
I want to know what. Yeah.
We need a video response.
Yeah. I want. Yeah. He needs to explain. He's got to relate back to Timmy.
Back to his bow hunting year.
A video
so.
response you
Yep.
can lay in on this podcast.
He did mention he was ready to go shoot a turkey the other day. So
And this might relate to that.
spring turkey's
Okay.
coming.
I like
So
that.
let's wrap it up with this. We could have gone another 2 hours, and I know sometimes you guys do. You go 3 hour, but,
Oh, yeah.
but I'm not going to do that.
We
'cause I
did
know
a 5 hour on episode 5.
You guys have
Yeah,
got to go out tonight. You got the rest of
Well,
the
we got
crew.
a reputation to keep up.
Yeah. Doug's in town and
You
he's
know,
excited.
yeah.
He wants to check out Harrisburg.
It is Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which is known. You know, there's
Mini
like,
Las Vegas.
I think there's Monte Carlo, and then there's like Las Vegas, and then Harrisburg.
Right
It's
there.
like a close third.
Yes.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
Especially in February, it's a real garden spot.
Right.
You know,
Are we close with this? Is this close?
I
Is
heard
Berg?
quality.
What happens
Yeah.
in Harrisburg stays in Harrisburg.
I like that.
Noted.
I like that.
No, I'll take this out and impress somebody with it.
Yeah. Hey, you guys want to read my portrait?
Yeah, check it out.
So what's next for you guys on the WCB side as you look out here, 22, right? You're coming off a big year, a great year. You picked up a lot of sponsors. You're at all-time high here in downloads. Your audience continues to grow. I mean, what are you seeing as you look out at the year ahead?
I have a master plan in 3 angles. I think maybe not within the next year. There's a lot of work to do, like in the avenues we're in, to establish them and get the footings in. The footings are still they got to harden up, and we got a lot of work.
You're still driving the pilings.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
But I have a 3-tier master plan. I guess maybe not a 3-tier, but a 3-split master plan for Working Class Bowhunter as a company, as a media company, to evolve within ideas. I'm a little vague here, but I don't want to give away all my ideas. But I'm basically I want to push through outdoor podcasting into a spot it hasn't been, or a way it hasn't been looked at yet, from a consumer standpoint, from a industry standpoint, on different angles, and kind of do some stuff with it and get it more respect. I feel like the respect it deserves. I guess in a way, like Letterman late night respect, as in like it's a real form of media that people need to see the power and the weight behind, because I think soon there's going to be more weight behind podcasting than there is in outdoor television, because of its long form and what you can do with it. So kind of vague, but that's where my head's at right now.
Well, that's another parallel even that I see with print that you can't do in TV. You know, TV, a whole episode, once you subtract the commercials, is like 22 minutes. And you have to show a hunt and take care of your sponsors. It's impossible to do what we can do, in like a 5-page article. Same thing. What you guys can do in a 3-hour podcast. They can't touch you. Now, I will say this, because I'm always working in the spiritual angles, especially on you. You gave me, you didn't give me any details. I don't know what his plan is, but you gave me biblical truth there, because he talked about he's got a 3-legged, or like a 3-stranded cord. Can't be broken, man. That's very stable. A 3-legged stool or 3 strands. One person on their own, they're easily going to be defeated. 2, that's good. But when you have 3, it's like money. Triangle. If he's got that triangulated, I mean, WCB is not going to be stopped. I'll tell you that right now.
I hope not.
Well, what about you, Casper?
Man,
you're just kind of tying into that fortune, right? You're going to try and make it go full time this year.
Hey, I mean,
do we need to start a funding platform for you?
Support
Clint? Sponsor. Sponsor Casper's full-time aspiration.
Sponsor
OnlyFans.
I'm counting on you. No, I'm just kidding.
OnlyFans.com/Casper.
No, I mean, I think, to kind of piggyback off what Curt said, I mean, I think the sky's the limit on some of these platforms, and what's, I've always wanted to be a writer. That's been since I was a little kid. My mom and dad, they tell stories all the time. They're like, we remember you couldn't even read, but you're looking at pictures of North American whitetail and Petersens and deer hunting, and you're, man, someday, Dad, I'm going to be in here, and like, it's like I'm living this dream, and now I'm here. It's like, okay, so now what? Like, how do I branch, where do I go from here? And for me, I'm just never settled with things. Like, I'm not one to pat myself on the back and be like, all right, I write, that's good, that's cool. I'm always thinking, how do I keep climbing and keep making this more of like...
You're never content.
Yeah, I'm just never content, and that's kind of my, I guess, strategy throughout what I'm doing now is, I knew nothing about podcasts. Got connected with Curt and WCB,
Still doesn't.
Yeah.
We're working on them.
We're working on it. Yeah, we're working on it.
Hey, it's fresh, man.
Yeah. And it's like, that's a whole other angle for me now. So it's like, I've got the writing. I've been doing that for a while. Like, I feel like I've got a pretty good grasp on that. Now I've dove into the podcast world. This is all new to me. So now I'm like, oh, man, I want to learn, and I want to, when I do something, and you can attest to this, and you can too, I mean, and you probably, I'm sure, have picked up on this. If I dive in, I'm full throttle. It's 120. There is no 80. There's no 70. If I'm going to do it, it's bam, we're going to do it. So for me, I want to, put out great episodes, great content, whether it's a photo on Instagram, whether it's a photo for you, articles for you guys, a podcast. I've got these platforms now. People are giving me a chance to, Casper, here it is, do something with it. That's motivation for me. I'm never settled with, hey, that was good, but...
Speaking of motivation, you ought to be getting Pellman and taking him out with you tonight. You need more digital assignments.
I like that idea. Man, you're always thinking. Gosh, I told
All
you.
right,
I told you, this guy's always thinking.
What's your 2022 outlook? I guess we're doing this now to wrap up, because they gave their 2022 outlooks.
22 on life in general, strictly on... Everybody's going down this road. Well,
either got to do that or tell everybody your deepest, darkest secret.
Do that.
He just tells us that.
Do that. Whoa! Jeez, Mark!
Yeah, I'd before I'm done.
I'm going to piggyback on what they're saying here. Petersen's brand is strong.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, been around for 40 years. print publication.
Yep.
But the website's taking off like crazy.
Yep.
The podcast is growing. Social media. You know, I've been in the industry for a long time, both in the outdoors industry and in the marketing communications industry, and it's really good. There's so many ways for people to digest and absorb and enjoy content now.
Yep.
And so in some ways, the sky's the limit. And it's great because, you know, whether you enjoy doing things on your phone or you still sit down with a magazine, we have an opportunity to reach a diverse array of audiences, but they still have that one common bond, and it's hunting, specifically bow hunting. And so these people, they come at it from different angles, whether you hunt with a bow, you hunt with a compound, recurve, traditional, or you hunt with a crossbow. They all still have that passion that gets them out in the woods.
I'll tell you my 22 game plan right here. And for those who are just listening, by the way, you got to go on YouTube now if you want the video version of our podcast, because I took your advice. I'm only uploading the audio on Podbean, which goes out, you know, to Stitcher and Google Podcasts and Apple Podcasts. But if you want the full video, they're on our YouTube. So if you prefer the video format, you go there. But people who just want to do the audio, I was getting complaints because the video files are so big and sometimes they buffer and it's not a good listening experience. So I think that was money. But right here, so if you can't see it, okay, Curt's wearing a hoodie. I'm grabbing his hoodie. I'm riding Curt's coattails.
I like it.
If I can just get the working class bowhunter crew to say, I don't always read bow hunting magazines,
but when I do,
I read Petersen's Bowhunting.
I like it.
We will rock it in 22. And
that is true, though.
It is.
For the record, it's the only one I subscribe to.
Well, and you know, we do have a podcast, so I can't quite say that Working Class is the official podcast of Petersen's Bowhunting. But I can say that I don't always recommend our own podcast only, but whenever I recommend another podcast, it's always Working Class Bowhunting.
I like that.
I'll take it.
That's good. That's good, Berg.
So there you have it. Guys, I mean, that was a fun conversation.
Oh, it's been a great time.
Thanks for having us.
It was probably a little bit more like your format than our typical format, but I think that's good.
I think usually we bring that to other podcasts without being too reckless, you know, but it was a good time. A lot of fun.
It was. We appreciate you guys having us over and showing us around. I mean, this is great. It's the first time, you know, everyone's like, oh, what's it like? I'm like, I haven't been here yet. You know, I've not got a chance to come and check out the facility and look at everything. It's been great.
I've never seen a muskox in a cubicle before.
Oh, that is
a full
body mount muskox.
You know, moose that's, I don't know how big.
We'll post some photos. Kurt and I took some photos of kind of what's going on in here, and we'll post some on social media and stuff. Yeah, the muskox is really cool. Yes.
It's a pretty cool office.
Yeah, with a moose, a gigantic Alaskan moose right above it. I mean, where's that at?
And an elk and
lots of critters in the office here. Well, guys, enjoy the rest of the outdoor show. I understand you got some more product to sell, but about half of it has already been cleaned out, and you got half a show yet to go. So
Doug brought more, and he threw in, and Eric overnighted some stuff for the weekend.
Well, the good news is they'll make more, folks. So if you can't get to the Great American Outdoor Show this week, I bet you can get on Working Class Bowhunter. When you listen to this podcast, you can go on their website, and they'll be ordering more merch. So there'll always be some available. Well, thanks a lot, guys. It was great. Travel safe, and we will do it again soon, okay?
Thanks for having us, man.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Looking forward to it.
Thanks for downloading the Petersen's Bowhunting Podcast. All bow hunting, all the time. Pick up the latest issue of Petersen's Bowhunting magazine on your local newsstand, or connect with us online at bowhuntingmag.com.